So Steve, now let's get to the immediate, the here and now. Again, I've been planning this event, and this is not me just playing coy.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with this CR stuff, right? I mean, it's coming at a high pace. The incoming is remarkable. You see the clock here. Just let's draw that down. Educate our audience that isn't in the bunker right now.
As you know, the Warren Posse and the Charlie Kirk show, we don't like CRs. We like to have 12 appropriations bills, get it done. This is why McCarthy's gone. Johnson, this should have been a layup. This should have been a two-line CR to kick into President Trump's term. We would agree to that. Or you add a $10 billion for the farmers, some money for the FEMA, and you get on with it. Johnson didn't tell Elon, didn't tell Vivek, didn't tell President Trump. He went to the UFC, he went to the Army-Navy game, never told him 1,500 pages, all Democrat. It's not acceptable. They're up there thinking something else. We just have to, and look, folks, it's going to be a little messy because of what the country's in. You got wars in Ukraine, wars in the Middle East, deportations on the border. We're going to try to get this to be a close-run thing. We're going to help here at AmFest over the next couple of days of the breakout session, get everybody up to speed. I'll have more to say about this later. But right now, President Trump's throwing in the debt ceiling. Let's throw gasoline on the fire.
What is the ask? What is a result out of this Congress that we can stomach? Not the ideal. You and I want 12 appropriate bills. We want real spending. That's not going to happen in this session.
No,
but what can we tolerate?
I'd like just to shut it down. Go home.
I know, but what is something we could tolerate?
Well, I think the most we could tolerate is some money for the farmers, desperate. A couple of $1 billion for the farmer to bridge them into President Trump. A couple of $1 billion for whatever FEMA needs to do now if there's not money there, and then sign it and kick it into President Trump's, and then next Congress.
And I think there is wisdom to this idea that Trump should not inherit the dysfunction of this Congress.
Yes.
A clean slate, right?
Yes.
And I don't like talking like that, but Trump, day one, should not have to fix the problem of the
debt ceiling
this
and all
madness.
that. Yes.
So Steve, some people are talking, I think you might have said motion to vacate on this new speaker's race, because we got to get through this. And hopefully we can get debt ceiling CR together. The reason I think the president is wise to push the debt ceiling is that he doesn't want Schumer to be able to have leverage with him in future months. Now, do you think it's time that we get a new speaker?
100%. It's not even a question. Look, Johnson, and I got a lot of grief early yesterday morning behind the scenes because people told me, President Trump loves Johnson. President Trump's got Johnson's back. Don't do this. I said, hey, as soon as he sees the performance, I know Trump. Trump's about performance. This thing's a fiasco. Here's what upsets me. He was with Vivek and Elon, who have been doing a ton of work. They came to Capitol Hill. They made a presentation. He was with them then. He was with them at the UFC fight. This is Johnson. He went to the Army-Navy game with President Trump and Vivek and Elon. So these are 3 or 4 times he's there. Nobody had any idea it was a 1,500-page document that was highly negotiated. And the giveaways to the Democrats, I mean, obviously Hakeem Jeffries got 2/3 to 75% of this.
So he was negotiating this in secret? Is that the implication?
In secret over at least the last 6 weeks. And he lied about it. He came on Fox and said, hey, it was a simple bill, 1 page, until some acts of God happened with the hurricane and about the farmers. And that's just not true. If you just look at, he had every opportunity, including at midnight on the first day they released it in the evening. At midnight, he tells Fox he was on the phone with Vivek and Elon. He didn't even walk them through it. He made all kinds of excuses. Then, as they spent overnight, Elon was up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:30, dropping bombs on this thing as he went through this and said, so look, we have to have somebody that has leadership and courage and can be straightforward. President Trump, and this is why I tried to give the speech on Sunday night about the bond market. If you look at the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, if you look at the deportations, the border, everything has to happen there. Those two lines. The one in the middle, to get the economy right, to get this debt right, to get all the cuts he wants to make, to get Doge's thing, that is so complicated. You have to line up and go down with OMB, the Secretary of Treasury, the National Economic Council inside the White House. The Speaker has to be, and his team have to be hardwired into that, because as the Constitution tells us, all taxes, by the way, the tax says, all taxes, revenue generation comes from the House, and all spending comes from the House and only the House. This is why the Speaker, Johnson's just not up to this task. This is not personal. He's just not up to the task. And you see this thing about Liz Cheney and Loudermilk sending this criminal referral to FBI. That committee should have been dealt with a year ago or a year and a half ago. We should have done the whole J6 on anything you can look at. It just hasn't been good enough. We need the best team there. And people are saying Elon Musk, hey, I'm comfortable with anybody that the Congress and President Trump supports. If it's Elon Musk, it's Elon Musk. If it's Jim Jordan, it's Jim Jordan. Whoever it's got to be, it's got to be. We just got to get on with it and make sure that we're tight.
I want who the president wants, and it's that simple. And so the negotiation right now should be very simple. CR, debt ceiling, but not a boondoggle CR, right? How did we get to a place with biolabs in Ukraine in a CR?
It's ridiculous. So there's a CR should either be 2 lines, or the alternative would be 2 lines. You add a couple of $2 billion for the farmers just to bridge them, and a couple of $2 billion for FEMA, and then a 2-year. If President Trump wants 2-year runway on the debt ceiling, you give him 2 years.
The way that it was presented is that this was like a last-minute rush deal, but you read it, this has been negotiated intimately.
We had 3 or 4 months to do this since September.
But hold on, if the debt, it's somewhat evidently dead, but if all the Democrats vote for this and a couple Republicans, this bad CR could still pass.
This could, but I think right now they've pulled it. The bad CR they pulled. Yes,
it's too much.
They're dead. They're dead.